r/AskReddit created by routinereddit. All you can eat buffet workers, what are your horror stories? Years ago, I worked at an all-you-can-eat country buffet in South Carolina. I was a busboy. One day, I went to a table. It was a mess, as per usual. It looked to be a large family/group of families of around 12 people or so. The thing that stuck it in my memory is that whenever they had finished with what they were going to eat, they would scrape their plate and use it again. Scrape their plates onto the floor next to their chairs. So next to each chair, there was a 6-inch to 18-inch pile of chicken bones, crab legs, mashed potatoes, remnants of baked potatoes, etc. Just disgusting. Out of all the horrible things I have read in this post, this is the only comment so far to get an audible WTF from me. It's just such an odd thing to do. Like, I can't fathom any reason why they wouldn't want to get a fresh plate. I understand clearing leftovers of your plate when you immediately reuse it, but then one should do it at a bin and not on the floor. Not a horror story, just funny. I worked at Wendy's when they had salad bars. You could get a single serving bowl. They used to serve eaten chili in styrofoam bowls, and the large doubled as a chili bowl, or all you can eat platters. The taco salad bottom plate. On a slow afternoon, this guy came in and got a single serving bowl. After a few minutes, our manager motioned to me and the sandwich guy to discreetly take a look at the salad he was making. The guy had filled the bowl with salad, then made a ring of overlapping cucumber slices to extend the lip of the bowl upwards. He filled that with salad, then added another ring. It took several minutes to build this thing, but by the time he'd finished, he had a tower of salad well over a foot tall. WTH, multiple rings of cucumber slices containing it. That salad was an engineering marvel. He carefully carried it back to his table, sat down, then looked up guiltily as our manager walked out to him. The manager handed him a free item coupon and said, "That is the most impressive salad I have ever seen. Your next one is on me." I have read about this practice before. The article below describes the act in Chinese Pizza Huts. I read a similar story, I think at a Chinese buffet that served all-you-can-eat rice/meat/veggie bowls in the last buffet stories thread. It's amazing how far people will go for a little more crappy food. I think it says a lot about the quirks of human psychology and how evolutionary hoarding traits are still buried in our brains, where the instant you say free X or $10 for unlimited X, some people's instinctive reaction is, how can I exploit this to get way more of that nearly worthless stuff than I could ever need in a trillion lifetimes? Picked up some fish and chips recently. Saw they had all you can eat on Wednesdays. So I asked, what is the most that someone? 18 pieces of fish and 3 plates. She held up this huge platter of fries every single Wednesday. So he eats that exact order every week? Yes, and he goes to a different all you can eat every day of the week. He got banged from the Chinese place down the road. That's kind of sad. Obviously an eating addiction. I agree, though I wonder if anything comes from that part of the brain that feels like they're winning by feeling like they're getting their $sign worth at it. I don't necessarily mean winning like games. A lot of people are taking it as a gambling comparison. Some people just really don't want to spend money on anything, so they can feel like they get the most stuff out of their money. It's not always just about food. I sorta took it there by accident by mentioning taste. Kinda like people I know who never want to splurge for some good quality stuff that tastes a lot better. They feel compelled to always only buy the cheapest thing. I'm always compelled to buy the cheapest thing, unless it's something I care about, or notice a difference. In 99% of things at supermarket I notice no difference, except ketchup. College friend worked at a Chinese buffet. He said they caught a regular dipping his pizza in the wonton soup bowl, like, in the queue, and not at his table, and eating it. Bite, dip, bite, dip, bite, dip. After the 4th time in a month he did it, management finally kicked him out. Like he brought pizza into the buffet, or this was a Chinese place that also does pizza. Every Chinese buffet has one terrible pepperoni pizza for the picky eater kids, with exactly one piece of pepperoni on each slice, in accordance with international Chinese buffet law. There was one buffet serving pizza with 2 to 3 pepperonis on each slice. It wasn't long before they got raided by the feds. Not an employee, but once I saw someone using their shirt as a bag and filled it with BBQ chicken wings. You promised me you won't tell anyone. Hey, it depends if you shared any of the wings. One does not just simply share his wings. What are you, a barbarian? Eating wings is a fairly barbaric activity. After all, you kiss your mother with that mouth. You mean they tucked in their shirt and dumped 50 wings down the neck hole? Try to imagine that for a moment. Those hot sticky wings all pressing against your stomach and chest. Bro 1. Bro, you brings the beers, I'll bring the wings. Just don't ask how. Bro 2. This one has a hair on it. It's a chicken hair, dude. At one point I worked for a pizza place that used to have a day buffet that I would make pizzas for. One time 2 huge dudes come in the moment we open for the buffet. The manager on duty dropped the first 2 pizzas down on the buffet, turned to grab the next 2, turned back and both pizzas were gone. A few minutes later both dudes walk back up and each take an entire pizza again and walk back to continue eating. They proceeded to do this over and over, grabbing an entire pizza each for themselves for the entire 3 hours we were offering the buffet. Was one hell of a day. Edit, with all the replies haha, big as in morbidly obese and Pizza Hut 2011 with regular dough, not thin, medium pizzas, 12 inches / roughly 30 centimeter diameter, sized pizzas. Dominance. Established. Domino's established. Nah, they'd put Domino's out of business. It's spelled diabetes. Dominance diabetes. To be fair, pizza is one of the highest margin restaurant foods out there, so you have to work pretty hard to lose money on them. Edit. Okay, based on several replies, I'm definitely going to check out Letterkenny. I wasn't familiar previously. My original post stands as written with this postscript. A single pizza was generally $4 when you consider dough, sauce, cheese, and toppings at the place I worked. As others have pointed out, it varies from place to place and area to area. Most buffers for pizza places are $10, of course depending on where you're at. If they munched more than 5 together, which it sounds like they would have, so they may have lost. Especially considering labor on the cooks, as they would be making food primarily for these absolute units. Edit. Getting this price from what we were told by management when I worked at Pizza, but in a busy Midwest town 2004-207. Dough was handmade every morning, and I know they estimate cost on that alone at $2. Vegas would cut on premise as well, so that may have been labor included. May have also been including all labor from cooks to prep and cleaning of pans, etc. This particular place was selling the all-you-can-eat buffet with a drink for the same price as a medium. Plus you could order a specific pizza to be placed on the buffet up to 5 toppings. I kept telling my boss surely he was losing money over this, especially anytime someone ordered a specialty pizza, and though he agreed he also stated his hands were tied since it was a chain. Edit. Forgot to mention, the price of a medium was about $8 USD. Hands tied because it's a chain sounds right.